How's it going? Welcome back to another great video with your boy, the Savior, the Majestic, the Wise One. Yes, I may be crippled, but I will not be destroyed, goddamn you, because I have important updating. What? I sound like a goddamn AI. Oh god, has it already started? Do YouTubers not exist anymore and I've just been replaced? I'm just a deep fake copy of some sinister pale-faced white man with a deep fake over me sitting in a basement being replaced by AI, and all your favorite YouTubers will be replaced and AI will take over. There is no stopping the Savior from giving you accurate and detailed early reviews based on my impressions and my hands-on and all of the extensive research that I do, so you don't have to. And there is no stopping this amazing community, so if you want to become a wise boy today, make sure that you do subscribe, join this fantastic community. Do consider subscribing, please. I'm so close to 10k and that would just mean so much to me. It simply takes 2 seconds for you guys, but it just means absolutely everything for me, and I work so hard on my videos. And if you like, gaming reviews, early game reviews, or retrospective content, if you like video essays and kind of dystopian videos talking about future technology, and most importantly, philosophical content, you've come to the right place, so consider subscribing. It would mean a lot.
I just move shit with my freaking mind! Okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts. You know what? I'll probably fly next.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
The mysterious entity living inside my powerful and legendary gauntlet. What?
So today I'm giving you my Atlas Fallen review, my Atlas Fallen game review. And yeah, this is very different from what I expected. So if you have no idea about these developers and their past games, they are primarily known for creating Souls-like games. They made The Surge, they also did Lords of the Fallen, and I would say Lords of the Fallen was just a complete copycat and not a very successful one at that. It was pretty jank and pretty juicy. Let's have a look.
What does this game offer that Dark Souls doesn't? And I don't think there's a good answer to that. Everything it is and tries to be can be described as a watered-down version of something you'd find in a Souls game.
The Surge was quite a creative spin on the Souls-like formula. It certainly wasn't my favorite whatsoever. That has to go to Lies of P. I can't wait for that shit. It's gonna be amazing. But I digress. They are known for that type of thing. So, this time they are trying to create something more unique, something more original. They're trying to step out of their comfort zone and really, get known as a developer and try and do something different. Of course, this does borrow elements from other games like God of War, the OG God of Wars, or even you could argue a little bit of DMC, and it's very heavily inspired by the Ubisoft open world bloat. And sadly, that is what kind of holds this game back, and I'm going to get into that more. But the combat here is fun, it's refreshing, and they are trying to do their own thing with this game, so I have to give them props for that. It also does feel a little bit like that older game Darksiders to some degree, but it's much more fast-paced. It's a lot of frantic combos and, just fast-paced combat, but it's nothing where you truly have to engage your brain because, even playing this on a hard difficulty, it doesn't get that hard. But one thing this game does have going for it is the unique kind of traversal that the player does. It has a good sense of verticality. There's lots of exploration here where you find, locations, and then you might have to come back to them later because it borrows elements from Metroidvania type games. Because in this game you have a magical glove that can inspect your prostate, and yeah, it's 10 times better than that other game because you are in a magical place, and yes, your glove is talking to you as it probes you. But I do like the fact that there is Metroidvania elements, although that is being overused as shit in modern day games nowadays. Oh, you found a magical door which you can't actually unlock until 10 hours later. Isn't that fun? Do all that backtracking, but the actual traversal here, the way your character moves about this world is fun. but even that does get old after a while. It would be cool if they added more abilities to the movement. I do all of my reviews early like this because we cannot trust the gaming industry as it stands right now with marketing BS, shills, you know, on YouTube, like Luke Stevens and Mr. Matty Plays, and it's quite a lot of them, who praise games in previews and then on release it's a complete shit show. The gaming industry has just become a joke, okay? And the big companies, the outlets out there like IGN are usually paid off, and we just can't trust what we get advertised to us because we've got so many broken games as proof. You know, it's now common practice to basically lie about your games in the marketing, and for some reason that's not illegal or criminal, or it's not prosecutable by any way, shape or form, which is pretty crazy to me. So that's why I do my reviews early. I hope you can understand that. So with my Atlas Fallen review, I'm going to break it down into positives and negatives. No. That's a naughty negative. I do this because I just don't think a bullshit number at the end of the video really tells you anything. It's a subjective experience at the end of the day. Art, gaming, anything in life is down to your unique opinion. Wow, imagine that. Imagine having your own opinions in life and not arguing on Twitter about it. When you are building a game like this, when it's basically propped up by open world mechanics of, you know, you go to a location, you climb up a magical tower and you unlock all of this bullshit, all of this stuff you don't care about. It's not organic exploration like we've seen, you know, games are capable of doing, like Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, or Elden Ring, Skyrim, you know, if you turn off the HUD, stuff like that. You know, it's not organic exploration, okay? It's very Ubisofty, where you just unlock a bunch of stuff and that is what you do. You just go to these random things, and I'm going to talk about all of the actual content in the game in a second. But when it's that type of game, and it's heavily focused around story, you need good voice actors. You need a compelling story. It's not just the voice acting, it's just the story in general here. It's just not that engaging. It feels very wooden. It feels very B Hollywood. It just feels like it's playing it very safe. It's kind of the typical, you know, hero versus bad guy story. It just doesn't have any nuance to it, I would say, and that's a shame. Just think about how much strong personalities in gaming can transform your experience. Think about The Walking Dead, okay, the Telltale games. That gameplay is complete shit, but it's an amazing game because of the characters of Lee and Clementine. Think of Joel and Ellie in The Last of Us. Again, I don't think that gameplay is actually that fun. It's pretty standard bullshit if you ask me, but everyone praises it because real gamers are kind of dead now. We like to play our movies, don't we? But I digress. It's just not that good, okay? But it's good because of the story. Sadly here, none of the main characters so far from what I've seen are interesting, and that's a problem.
I know a lot of people are butthurt about Starfield actually being a good game, but I actually think Starfield will be a very good game, so don't get yourself too much set upon this game, because actually everyone's gonna forget about it in just a couple of weeks, so, you know, calm down in the comments. It's okay if this game is actually not that great.
What I find most fun about Atlas Fallen is actually the treasure hunts. That can be really fun because you're usually, you know, have to actually use your own brain. It doesn't just tell you exactly where to go. You actually have to figure it out a little bit yourself. There are usually bigger enemies that you have to fight, and it's just a lot of fun. You know, collecting map fragments, which is also in this game. You know, like I said, it does feel very Ubisoft inspired, kind of like the older Assassin's Creed games. That stuff is not that interesting, but the side missions here can offer some interesting gameplay, and if the gameplay is fun, that's the main thing, right? And the gameplay here is actually fun. Your special prostate glove, or your gauntlet, whatever you want to call it, actually has some pretty cool abilities, okay? And you can actually do things like, you know, like I said before, and everyone knows this, raise platforms, stuff like that, but actually you can use your ability to conjure sandstorms and stuff like that, which is pretty fun. And how the abilities work here is it's basically done in a 3-tier system called Essence Stones, which is quite an interesting way of doing it. And basically you can choose, you know, what Essence Stone you want to upgrade and level up and all that kind of stuff. Basically it's defense, momentum, and damage. But actually the abilities that you can unlock with the Gauntlet and the Essence Stones, they can be very varied. You can mix and match, and that does add to the fun gameplay in Atlas Fallen. I do hope you are enjoying this Atlas Fallen game review, my review of Atlas Fallen. If you are, like I said, please do consider subscribing, checking out my music on Spotify, and if you want extra content and you want to support a smaller channel, then consider joining as a member, because that is how I can keep doing this stuff and you can get benefits like a whole playlist of content. That would just mean so much to me. Or just drop a donation, whatever you feel comfortable with, any support is appreciated. And for final quick shill, as there is no sponsor, because who would sponsor with this madman? But I digress. Please do consider checking out my music on Spotify. My new album, Nova, is about to be released. If you like the soundtrack from Cyberpunk 2077, if you like that type of music, you will no doubt love what I make. And just give it a chance, go listen on Spotify, you will not be disappointed. So basically, throughout the game, you will come across sandstorms, and to clear these sandstorms, which obviously pose a massive threat to you, you have to clear out these kind of enemy dungeons in a way. They're not exactly dungeons, but kind of out in the open, to basically clear the watchtower and to basically have complete visibility. And usually there's a bigger enemy type that you have to fight. Kind of simple fun like that, where you actually get a visual sense of doing something, having these sandstorms just clear up and having this area cleared. That to me is far more, just fun than just clearing out enemy camps like something in a Far Cry game or Assassin's Creed. You do get a sense of progression, and I do like that. It kind of reminds me of older games like Saboteur, if anyone remembers. That was pretty good, where if you clear out an area, the color actually changes, so it gives you a visual kind of dopamine hit, if that makes any sense. A negative, like I said, is the stale open world. This is very much heavily inspired by Ubisoft games. There are so many things to do, but actually when you boil them down and you understand, it's pretty much treasure hunting, map fragments, or, like how fast you can traverse to one location to the next. There's kind of Metroidvania, just unlocking new locations to gather loot and clear out a bunch of enemies, and, side quests and the main missions, of course. That all sounds like a lot, but when you break it down, you realize that actually all of these different types of missions and gameplay mechanics, they all actually feel the same after you've played one of them about 3 or 4 times. So just bear that in mind. And for the final positive, and let's end this Atlas Fallen review with a positive, because I think that is important. I'm not dunking on this game, I just don't think it's, going to be the next big game like Starfield or Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring. It's not a bad game by any means, but for people like me who are feeling a little bit, let's just be honest, not just tired, but absolutely just done with these types of open world games, then I think you won't be missing out on anything if you don't like that type of experience. But let's end with a positive for this Atlas Fallen review, and that is the combat. Like I said, the combat is fun, there's a lot of combos, your gauntlets have cool abilities that you can, customize with these, different types of stones, essence stones, and the traversal kind of blended with the combat just makes you feel like a badass the way you move. And this is such a cool detail, because if you keep this going and you feel like a badass because you're dodging all the attacks and stuff like that, your weapons will actually change and kind of evolve. But when you are using your weapons in this momentum mode, it is a risk-reward type situation, which is fun, and I think that was a cool idea, but sadly it never feels like that because, like I said, the difficulty isn't that great, especially in the early game, so it's kind of easy, and it doesn't really matter that you take extra damage when you're using your weapons in this kind of momentum mode. But it is cool because the weapon changes, it does feel different and unique, and you can slot abilities to just make your attacks even more varied and fun. And mixing all of this stuff together, the combat here does feel good, and I can't fault it for that. It just does feel floaty at times, but honestly, I think the combat here is good. It's a nice blend of like the old God of War with kind of Darksiders. So that was my Atlas Fallen review, my Atlas Fallen game review for early review. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, please do consider subscribing, and just leave me your thoughts about the gaming industry, this game, and what games you're looking forward to, because this month and next month there are so many new amazing games coming out. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. If you are joining the community, if you do stick around, make sure you leave a comment. I just absolutely love this community, and I welcome anyone who has intelligence and who is interested in learning about new ideas and opinions, and who loves gaming and is passionate like I do, please fire off down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.